Last week, Hilly and I took O's to see the cherry trees in bloom at Branch Brook Park. As you know, it's a stunning sight. Thousands of trees covered with clouds of pink and white blossoms, beauty as far as the eye can see. All around us were people intoxicated by the sights and smells of springtime. Everyone seemed to be either posing for pictures or taking their own photos, pregnant women proudly smiling for the camera, families dressed in their best Easter outfits, young couples in love, photo artists attempting to capture just the right effect. I knew we were lucky to get to Branch Brook that day to view the trees. The blossoms last at most 2 weeks, and their peak viewing season is very brief, between 4 and 7 days long. I learned that cherry blossoms are more than lovely flowers. They have a special significance in Japanese culture. First, for the many centuries that Japan used a lunar calendar until 1872, the cherry tree blossoms, called sakura, appeared at the start of the new year, so they came to represent new beginnings, a fresh start. They also have a second, more profound meaning. As one writer puts it, for Japanese, sakura evoke feelings of both joy and pathos. Because the blossoms appear for so short a time and then gracefully fall like snow, they have long been a symbol of the impermanence of life. Mono no aware is an expression born over 1,000 years ago that refers to a feeling of awe and appreciation for the transience of things, of life, and of love. The delicate sakura blossoms are all the more cherished because of the brief time we can see them each year. Robert Frost captures a similar sense of poignance at the passing of springtime beauty in his famous poem called "Nothing Gold Can Stay." Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden came to grief. So dawn goes down today, nothing gold can stay. In our tradition, too, this season of the year is filled with special significance and is tied to what is happening in nature. The Hebrew word for springtime, aviv, originally referred to just ripened ears of corn, still on the stalk, still fresh and soft, tender and delicious. Only later did the word come to represent a time of year when such fleeting pleasures are possible. But for Jews, the coming of aviv, springtime, is accompanied by joy rather than sadness. Rather than reminding us at this season of the year that this too shall pass, our tradition celebrates the reassuring constancy of rebirth in nature. Darkness is always followed by light. Winter's chill gives way to sunshine. Old leaves fall, but new buds pop out on the tree. Pesach is grounded in this fundamental belief in hope, the belief that sorrow is real, but it does not last forever. The very movement of the Seder narrative reflects this way of viewing life. In telling the story of Pesach, the Mishnah counsels, Matchil bignut u'mesayem b'shevach, begin with degradation and conclude with praise for our deliverance. At the Seder table, says the Mishnah, we recount our journey up and out of misery. We're required to rejoice in all these nisim, all these miracles. God took us from slavery to freedom, from sorrow to joy, from mourning to festive celebration, from darkness to a great light, and from enslavement to redemption. And what is the final word? The Mishnah advises the Seder leader, v'chotem begeula, finish the whole thing off by reciting a blessing for our redemption. Generations of Jews have absorbed this lesson, at the heart of which is resilience, never give in to despair, work to overcome suffering, believe in a better future. We've always needed this lesson, and we need it now as we are daily assaulted by images of ugliness and violence. But Pesach brings us another equally important message. Consider this remarkable midrash about the crossing of the Sea of Reeds. Rabbi Newark taught that when the sea split, God placed fruit trees within the walls of water, to provide sustenance to the weary former slaves. Whenever an Israelite woman holding a crying baby would cross through the sea, she could reach out and take an apple or a pomegranate from the tree and hand it to her child. What was Rabbi Nehorai trying to teach? Perhaps he meant that blessings abound even in moments when we least expect them. They surround us, they are there for the taking, but it's up to us to open our eyes, to reach out and taste them. All too often we walk through the world in a state of blindness, our perceptions dulled by habit. As Yehuda Amichai wrote in his poem called Nisim, Miracles, from a distance, everything looks like a miracle, but up close, even a miracle doesn't appear so. Even someone who crossed the sea of reeds, when it split, only saw the sweaty back of the one in front of them. Pesach isn't only about hoping and working for a better future, it's about seizing the joys of this moment, of today, seeing them, appreciating them, savoring their sweetness. Remember the words of Rabbi Yehuda in Talmud Brachot. When a person goes out during the days of Nisan and sees trees that are in bloom, they should say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shelo chasar ba'olamo klum, uvaravo briot tovot v'ilanot tovim leheanot bahem b'nei Adam. Blessed is the one whose world lacks nothing, who created in this world good creations and good trees for the benefit of humanity. So we are given the words of Song of Songs to read on this festival later on in the holiday, urging us to open ourselves to the spectacular flowering of nature, to the delights of love. For love, wherever we find it, is precious. Grab hold and eat, grab hold and drink, counsels the Talmud. For this world from which we depart is like a wedding feast. The world is a wedding feast. We've been invited. We've been given the gift of life. Blessings abound, new beginnings and unexpected opportunities await us, and the world is blossoming right before our eyes. Trees are bringing forth their gifts of beauty, and the people around us are offering their gifts as well: laughter, friendship, forgiveness, and love. So let us celebrate and give thanks that we are alive to appreciate them. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.